called my dad right away. I was like, Dad, I got an email. I've got a contract for Chelsea. I was working in Morrisons. What do you mean? What do you mean I need to send my P45 to Morrisons?
How did Morrisons react?
You know what? You have to serve the notice period. No, I'm joking.
Hello and welcome to We Are Chelsea, the official podcast of Chelsea Women, brought to you in association with Skoda, the official car partner of Chelsea Women and proud supporters of women's sport. I'm Caz De Moraes and today I'm joined by an absolute fan favourite. She joined Chelsea as a teenager back in 2016. She's a Scottish international and of course has captained Chelsea this season. I am talking about Erin Cuthbert and this is her life in blue. Erin, welcome back to the podcast. We're so happy you're back. We didn't scare you off. How are you?
I'm here. I'm still standing. Yeah, glad I've been invited back. Must have done a good job.
You did. Well, you never fail to entertain on and off the pitch. And everyone talks about it. All your other teammates like Erin, she's just a big joker and really makes us laugh.
Oh no. I wonder what they've actually said.
All good, I promise. I want to talk to you about your life in blue. So you've been here since 2016. How has the club changed? Facilities, staff, food, everything. Tell me.
I mean, it just keeps growing year on year. I think staff is the biggest thing, probably facilities as well. We used to, downstairs, we used to have changing rooms for the academy and I think we only had one or two physios at the time, one analyst, I think, or two analysts. So it was all a bit crazy. I think, look, honestly, we've probably doubled our staff size since I joined the club. Probably doubled our squad size as well. Well, we've been at it. But I think it's just, it grows with like the increased demands in the game.
Yeah.
And the margins are getting even tighter than they've ever been. Year on year they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and I think you keep needing the best in the game to keep giving you that competitive advantage.
You grew up in Scotland. Am I going to say it right? Irvine. That's
right. You sound Irish, but that works. That works.
She's like, I'll take Irish over English.
No comment.
But you've played for various teams. Some of the first teams that you played for were Rangers and Glasgow City. Tell us about what it was like when you got the call that Chelsea were interested.
Wow, it makes me excited when I think back. We actually played Chelsea in the Champions League 6 months before I actually ended up joining Chelsea. I got substituted after 13 minutes. Okay. That's the biggest disrespect that's ever happened in my career, hands down. I think it was 13, maybe it was 17. I think Chelsea scored and then it was a tactical decision. But when a player gets subbed before 20 minutes, come on, I hadn't even touched the ball. You can't even say I'd done anything wrong. The goal wasn't even directly caused by me. But
still hasn't got over it, I can tell. No,
that one still really, really hurts. So I thought, that's my chance gone. No chance I'm getting a move to England when, people notice that you've been subbed after 20 minutes. You're effectively the scapegoat, if you like. But then, a couple of months later, I got wind that maybe they were interested in having me down for a trial. Totally understand, because they hadn't seen me play. Literally. Totally get it. Makes sense, right?
That girl that got subbed, bring her down for a trial.
Yeah, that one that got subbed after 17 minutes? Yeah, find her. We want her. But for me, it was all about waiting for the right opportunity. I knew I wanted to play in England. Had an offer, I think, about 6 months before for another WSL team at the time. And
who?
It was Doncaster Rovers Bells when they were in the top league. So yeah, they were really interested, and it didn't quite materialise because I was studying at the time and they couldn't sort of facilitate that as well in the housing. But yeah, I ended up going to Chelsea. I was training full time still in Scotland. I wasn't playing full time. I was training I was training like a full time athlete. I was doing full time studies. So it was a lot. And then when I got asked to go down and train at Chelsea, it was a no brainer. See where it goes. see what happens. Yeah, it's a big club. I'm stressed. Like, that was a big move, big jump. So
what was the trial like? Is it like one day? Is it a week? How
Well,
long does it last?
it doesn't really happen anymore. That's the
Okay.
bottom line. Trials don't really happen anymore at this level. But it was 3 days.
Okay.
I came down, stayed at the Hilton Cobham. Remember it so well. Remember getting a steak the night before the game. Had a big game. Steak and chips was superb from there, by the way. But it was so strange because I was 18-year-old girl coming down to London.
Yeah.
Didn't bring my family. Like, I just came down myself, stayed in the hotel.
Okay.
I think it was the first time that I'd properly travelled by myself like that.
That's going to be quite daunting.
It was daunting, and it was quite nerve-wracking as well. A car's
Yeah.
picking you up in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what to expect. Like, you see these girls on the TV, like, you don't know where am I going to be in comparison to them? Is the level going to be so high that I feel like I'm drowning? So I trained for a couple of days.
Okay.
And then on the third day, we had a game against a boys' team. So it was perfect. It was a chance to actually show myself
Right.
in a game. And I scored an absolute peach. I'm pretty sure that's the one that got me the contract. Gemma Davison, who's at the club now, says to this day, like, she'll never forget the goal that I scored in the trial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's pretty
wow.
special. And I didn't even feel like I was getting on the ball enough. You know when you're the trialist, people don't want to pass to you because they don't trust you.
Okay.
You have to earn trust. Like, you've got Katie Chapman in the team, you get Karen Carney, Millie Bright, Frank Kirby. Who wants to pass to the 18-year-old kid from Scotland that nobody knows that's on trial? Nobody. So you have to go and make it happen, like,
Right.
yourself. So I think I ended up doing really well in the trial, and Emma then took me to the airport because I was going straight for the game, straight to the airport. And I was on the way to the airport, and Emma was driving me because she said, right, I'll drive you. Okay. I was like, okay.
Oh.
Emma
Talk about
Hayes.
daunting.
Emma Hayes is taking me to the airport. Do I keep quiet or do I not say
Yeah.
anything? Do I sit in the back or do I sit in the front?
Yeah.
Like, where does
What
she
did
want me
you
to
do?
sit?
Where did you sit?
I sat in the front.
Okay.
I sat in the front. I think there's too much rubbish in the back. You know what Emma's like? And then she took me to the airport. She was talking me through it. Said, okay, we're interested in you. We want you. We can't guarantee you'll play. This is the honesty of it.
Okay.
We can't guarantee you'll play. You'll train with us, but you might play games with the reserve team. I said, okay. Like, I don't know what she's trying to get out of me. She was like, just so your expectations are met, this is the way it's going to be. So I was like, I'm going from the Scottish Women's Premier League, being a fairly decent player there, to then going to play reserves. I was like, oh, is this for me? Is this honestly what I want to do? And I was thinking, you know what? It's not going to be me. It's not going to be me. Because I felt like I'd done well enough in the trial that I was able to compete and train, and that I would never have to do that.
Okay.
Not that it's a bad thing, but
No.
I would want to stay in the first team. Like, you want to play in the first team. You want to be at Chelsea. You want to play in the first team. And by the time...
self-assurance at 18. That's great.
It is. But if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
Yeah.
You have to. It comes from within first and foremost. And yeah, it was a big move. A lot of people in Scotland were telling me, "Oh, I'm not sure. I just said, stuff the lot of you. I'm doing it. I'm doing it."
Why though? Why were they not sure?
Because it was a big move quite soon. And I think people maybe thought there was a stepping stone in the middle, which
Okay.
I completely understand.
They wanted to play it a bit more safe.
Completely understand. And do you know what? That doesn't work for everyone. And I will say that, like, some people have tried to do that and maybe they've not quite succeeded in that. But I wouldn't say there's one path for everyone, and it's certainly not the same path. But anyway, when I got to the airport, I thought, oh, what a chat with Emma. Okay, she wants me. I've done well in the trial. That's good. So go through security, go to Terminal 5 Wagamama's.
Oh yeah,
Get my-
absolutely.
get my
What's
chicken.
your Wagga's order?
It was chicken katsu curry at the time. I'm
Yeah.
gluten free now, but it was chicken katsu curry, extra sauce, obviously, because there's never enough sauce on that thing.
There's never enough sauce. You're so right.
And I got there and I opened my phone and it was an email. And it was for Paul Green. It was a contract offer in the emails. So by the time that Emma was talking to me, there was a contract offer in my email. He was probably drafting it up at Cobham while Emma was taking me to the airport.
God, Emma, talk about mean what you
I know.
say and say what you
She was
mean.
moving. She was moving quick. So yeah, like, that was... I really felt wanted. I felt like
Okay,
Emma
yeah.
wanted me. She wanted to develop me. She said, you've got a lot to learn. You're a good player, but you by no means have you made it yet. And I always believe, like, your first professional contract, you've definitely not made it. Like, you've just got one foot in the door and you're just getting started. And that's kind of how I felt. It was a bit of a clean slate at Chelsea. And as soon as I got home, I called my dad right away. I was like, Dad, I've got an email. I've got a contract for Chelsea. I was working in Morrisons. What do you mean? What do you mean I need to send my P45 to Morrisons when I get back? It was all a bit much. Like, I was studying full time. I was a year and a half into a degree. Like, my life had been turned upside down in the best possible way, but it'd still been turned upside down.
Yeah.
So
how did Morrisons react?
You know what? You have to serve the notice period. No, I'm joking. No, they honestly, they were shocked. I think flabbergasted, to be honest. Like, who does that? But yeah, my little Saturday job at Morrisons, that got me the bills to pay to keep me going up to play for Glasgow City, and it was my fuel costs and everything. So yeah, it was a great little job, and I think everyone was just so happy and shocked because a girl from Irvine, Scotland, doesn't really make it to a club like Chelsea. I mean, Billy had done it as well. We kind of followed in similar footsteps a couple of years after. So I think there's definitely something special in that.
And what was your dad's reaction?
He went, I'll see it when I get home. I'll read the details. I was like, okay, Dad, but I have been offered a contract. Just let you know.
He put his boss man hat on.
Yeah, he was like, we'll work it out, see if it's, financially viable and all that. Like, I was like, no, Dad, I've been offered a contract with Chelsea. I'm going. I don't care what you say. I'll go for free if I need to, honestly. So that was the case. And I think there was a little bit of interest from, I think Man City had a couple of chats with me. But nothing ever really materialised. And when Emma just made me feel so wanted from the moment we spoke, I knew she wanted me, and I knew Chelsea was the best place for me to develop, and I knew that she was going to sort of take good care of me as well, because my mum and dad, the daughter's leaving home for the first time. It's a big deal for them as well, and I think they felt safe that I was in good hands with Emma and the staff, and the girls that I met over the 3 days, they were all so lovely to me. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful that everything happened the way it was, because it was kind of perfect in some way.
This podcast is brought to you by Skoda, the official car partner of Chelsea Women and proud supporters of women's sport. Whether you're playing five-a-side after work, cheering the kids on from the sidelines on a Saturday morning, or gathering with your mates to watch the big leagues at the weekend, Skoda's the perfect companion for your everyday adventures. Zip around town in the fully electric Enyaq, or give the squad a lift home in the all-new 7-seater Kodiaq. There's something in the range to suit teams of all shapes and sizes. Don't just take my word for it. Search the Skoda range today to jump in and see for yourself. You mentioned about the trial, but then now you're here, you've signed. Talk to me about the first few training sessions. How nervous were you, and who did you first see, and who made you feel welcome but also overwhelmed? Were you a bit starstruck?
Yeah, a little bit starstruck. Like, I had come at the time, you'd signed Crystal Dunn, Maren Mjelde, Ramona Bachmann, all these top stars and captains for a country, and you've signed Erin Cuthbert. Who? Like, who's that? So yeah, first couple of training sessions, I was quite overwhelmed. I was like, just do the basics, do what I'm here to do, kind of thing, and don't do anything special, sort of thing. And the first couple of sessions, I was like, wow, okay, the speed is a lot quicker. I need to move the ball quicker. I need to think quicker. I need to run quicker. Like, everything was just a level up in terms of tempo in comparison with the Scottish League. And I remember going home my first few months, honestly, and just going to sleep. I was absolutely shattered. I was shattered because everything is so draining. You got to concentrate. You're a full-time athlete. Like, things changed for me. And I had so many naps. I mean, I don't nap now, but I really, really needed it at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, to be fair, hearing it and knowing that you were training full-time, but you weren't a full-time athlete, you had your Saturday job, you were studying, and then you had to go from it. It's a big change. It is a big change.
It was a big change for me, and I think what I noticed and what was the best thing about Chelsea is it actually gave me more rest. It allowed me to be the best athlete I could be, because how can you possibly be the best athlete if I was getting up at 5:30 to leave the house at 6 a.m. to do a morning session, then to do 5 hours at uni and then train at 8 p.m. in the evening and get home at 11. So I effectively left the house at 6 a.m. and I was home at 11. Whereas a pro athlete, I left the house at maybe 9 and then I was home for 3:00, and then it actually gave me proper time to rest, so that when my sessions did come, it was quality rather than quantity.
Absolutely. And then moving quickly to your debut, do you remember it? Do you remember the build-up? What was going through your mind? Was there, I don't know, a routine that you stuck to that you remember?
No, I don't remember as such. I remember my goal, I think, against Yeovil.
Yeah.
Yeovil Town. I remember the goal. I was absolutely buzzing. Couldn't believe it. At Wheatsheaf Park. But I'd been waiting for my opportunity. I think in the early stages, it's all about earning trust from the manager, from the players. When I speak about, like, I want them to give me the ball and under tight spaces and tight positions, but you have to earn that trust with big players. And, you know, slowly the first couple of months was all about just finding my feet. It wasn't about making big impacts. It was finding my feet. And, you know, I think I'd done that quite well.
How did the fans react to you and welcome you?
In the beginning, they're probably like, who? Considering all the names we'd signed.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely a fair point. I'd have been the same if we'd signed someone now, and you know, you don't really know of them quite well, and you know, at the time social media wasn't as big. Scotland didn't have the same presence. We hadn't been to a major tournament then, like hadn't had any exposure at an international level with that yet, so it was a surprise to the fans. But I think slowly as I got on, I started just doing my best for the badge, like doing my best for the team. As soon as I come on, giving everything for the team. And I think as a fan, that's all you want to see. It's never ever about, you know, scoring all the goals or getting all the assists. It's just about giving your absolute best when you're on the pitch, and whatever your best looks like, it's just about executing it.
Yeah. And so basically they saw that you did that and they were like, yep, she'll be captain one day. We love her.
Well, yeah. I mean, they probably never thought that at that time, but yeah, I think it was certainly my aim. As soon as I joined the club, I'd grown a big affinity to it straight away. And you know, I'm a Rangers fan traditionally, so we have a good connection with Chelsea in general. So my dad was quite happy as well.
Did you ever think that your career, did you ever think you'd be here for as long as you have, and that you'd be wearing the captain's?
As I said, you're absolutely bonkers. I really, really would. Like, yes, I wanted to be a professional footballer. Did I think I'd ever be able to make it a true living? Not sure, honestly, because at the time it just didn't exist. There was 1 or 2 FA Cup finals on the TV each year.
Yeah.
So no, I really, really didn't. And I guess it is a pinch me moment, but it's still only just starting for me.
And did anything change when Emma asked you to step up and be captain?
Well, me and Neve temporarily, so for sure. But no, nothing changed. Honestly, okay. I genuinely do act the same and behave the same way. Yes, I have a greater consideration for others and making sure they're prepared, but you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anyone else. You got to look in before you look out, sort of thing. But yeah, I think I've definitely grown into the role as the months have gone on. But you know, we have missed Millie, we have missed Sam, but it's nice being able to share it with Eve as well, because we're kind of 2 completely different characters, and it's been nice to be able to bounce things off her as well and get a second opinion on things. How
do you think your teammates would describe you as a captain?
This makes me nervous. I think passionate. You know, my team talks, it's a lot of shouting, a lot of kind of gearing people up for the games, and you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I'm the type of player that, you know, you can see all my emotions. You can see when I'm angry, I'm sad, I want more from the team. You can see it all, but I mean, I'm sure you're going to tell me what they said, right?
Well, you're a big personality, so that's what, you know, people always say. Yeah. But you are inclusive. You welcome them in. Ashley said you were one of the first people to come and speak to her and to like welcome her. You're very funny. You're very funny. I mean, I love knowing whenever I'm like, who have we got on the podcast? And your name comes up. I'm like, oh, this will be great. This will be fun.
Do you know what? I think with that, no matter what happens with me at Chelsea, no matter what I do on the pitch, no matter how many trophies I win, I think the biggest respect that you can earn and have is that people always thought you were a nice person off the pitch. And I want to be known for what I do off the pitch as much as I do on it. And having someone welcome you is such a small thing, but it goes such a long way, and people do not forget first impressions. And for me, I just want to treat people the way I was treated when I joined the club, because I was welcomed with such open arms, and I would hope it's the same for every new player that comes into our environment now.
Well, being the captain and doing that, I think, is the best way. That you're leading literally by example, and they've all got good things to say. I can promise you that. Do you think that, I guess, being captain and everything that's happened has helped you and will help you develop playing for Scotland? Yeah,
without a doubt. I think I've had the Scotland armband a couple of times, but it's definitely a different type of pressure. But I think growing my leadership qualities at Chelsea and at club every single day, having daily habits like that can only help when you go to national team, because, I'm part of the leadership group at national team. We have an abundance of leaders in the group. We have the captain, obviously of Aston Villa, Claire Emsley, we have Caroline. Like, there's so many leaders there, and I think I want to get Scotland to a major tournament, and whatever I can do in my daily behaviours and my daily actions to help me get there and to help the team get there, I will absolutely be willing to do. So I think the leadership is definitely helping, and I sort of bring a different perspective because, we're involved in titles every single year. We're involved, like, different girls are maybe involved in relegation battles, like, promotion into the WSL, competing in the SWPL. Like, everybody's bringing a different part to the table, and we're sort of competing at the top for the Champions League in the really, really pressure moments. And I've worked a lot under Emma, so I do say that I am a mini Emma. I'm quite direct, like to get things done, whereas some people are maybe a bit laid back, bit different. I think a perfect balance of that is so healthy.
I'm going to ask you a really difficult question, but looking at your career in blue, is there one game that stands out to you as your favourite or your best game?
Oh, God.
And why?
Must be a couple. I think FA Cup final 2022, after extra time when we won against Manchester City. I ended up scoring the goal as well, but I thought we'd lost it. I really did when they scored.
Did you?
And we took it to extra time because I had no legs. I couldn't run. If anyone tried to exploit me, they would have absolutely have done that because I had nothing left. But I don't think anyone did. Like, we had gave everything that game. We honestly gave everything. And just the pure euphoria at the end when you beat your biggest rival and you win a cup final at Wembley. Like, there's nothing more special than that. Seeing my family there, like, it's the best thing in the world. Like, you can't even describe it. You cannot describe sharing a moment with your family like that.
Aww,
yeah,
I love that.
It makes me quite emotional, and I think all my best games have came when they've been there, because just feeling their support. I always feel their support from home. Don't get me wrong. I always know they're watching every single game on the telly, or the pre-match build-up. They're doing all the analysis. I feel that, but it's different when they're in the stadium because they share the moment with you. It's hard to explain the moment rather than share the moment, and I think there's so many amazing moments with Chelsea. Like, it's difficult to even put in a podcast. I think we're gonna need to have another one, I guess.
I'll gladly have you on every week. I mean, another tricky question: who's the best player that you've played with here at Chelsea?
I think everybody's had such different qualities. I've really
it is hard. You can name a few.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing with Ji So Young. Just of the pure technical brilliance she had at the time, and she was so far superior in terms of her technical ability than everyone else at that point. And I've really enjoyed playing with Pernilla Harder. She's just a winner. She's like me. She'll do anything to win. She doesn't care what's in her way. Like, she is so focused on winning, and I have so much respect for people like that.
To be fair, I think I said something to Ashley, and she described you as a soldier willing to go to war for your team.
I will. I'll do whatever it takes. You can shoot me in the chest. You can shoot me in the leg. I'll run with one leg. That's absolutely fine. I'll do whatever the team needs me to, and I'd run through a brick wall if I have to.
I love that. Erin hopped it in.
won't be saying that much longer. So
okay,
there's been so many players, like even Katie Chapman, like seeing somebody in your position, the type, like again, her attitude to training, to games, like every single day. See, I think I really, really respect the players who can turn it on every single day, who can just get themselves up for it. It doesn't matter if it's a big game or like, oh, people are watching this game's on the telly. Like, see people who just do it every single day and just turn the switch on every day. I have so much respect for, because I think consistency is so overlooked in football, and I respect so many people who do that. And you know, there's so many in our dressing room that do that, and I'd certainly try and learn as best as I can off them.
Have you got a favourite goal that you've scored since being here?
Barcelona. maybe Barcelona or FA Cup final.
Okay.
That I scored against Manchester City at Wembley. I think just of importance.
Yeah.
Lyon away in the Champions League semi-final. That was a special moment. I was just a youngster, you know, chucked in midfield for the first time, and everything was all relatively new. But I could even say another one. Arsenal away, when I scored the brace at Arsenal and all the fans are booing you. I think that's pretty good moment, pretty good feeling. But yeah, I think it's, for me, it's not about goals. It really isn't. I don't care who puts it in the net, as long as we win. Genuinely, as long as we win. Of course, it's nice when you score a wee goal, and Emma keeps challenging me to score more goals, so I have to keep chipping in year on year. But it's not everything to me. It really ain't.
What did go through your mind when you scored at Barcelona?
Oh my God, I scored against Barcelona. Oh my God. That's running through your head. Like, I'm sure that's running through everybody's head. Yeah. But yeah, just sheer elation that everything that we had worked on in training the day before was coming to fruition. And I think as a team, there's nothing better than executing a game plan perfectly and the team following it, because you get so much energy from it. Yous might not know, like, if you're watching a game, how well we're actually following it, but in the moment it feels so good. Like, that for me is the best feeling.
What do you think has been your toughest moment here at Chelsea? Because we've talked a lot about the highs and there's been so many, but what's been the toughest moment?
Yeah, good question. I think I went through a period of not playing in 2021. I think 8-9 months not playing, trying to prove to the manager, feel like I'm doing a lot, not getting very far, not getting in the team, sort of on the wrong side of the rotation, and I wasn't really getting a look in, and I feel like I was doing everything. And when you look back, maybe I was doing everything, but I was doing too much. I was trying to prove myself too much, and it was difficult. But I feel like everybody needs to go through that process, needs to know what it feels like. You need to not want that feeling again. Like, it's like losing. Like, you don't want to feel it again, so you try so hard to stay away from it. And yeah, that was a really difficult moment for me, for my family as well, because I was putting a lot on them. I was really sad, and it then portrays to them, and they see their daughter who's living away from home, who's all alone in her apartment, not happy, and you know, it transcends into, it just snowball effect. It gets worse and worse and worse, and you feel like you can't get yourself out of it. You want to do more, but you don't know what you can do more of. So I think I really, really struggled with that. And at the time I was going through a few medical problems as well, so it all was kind of
it felt like it all came at once.
It was all so overwhelming, and you know, I'm a footballer who wants to play. Everybody wants to play, don't get me wrong, but for me, like, I want it so bad that I'll fight for my spot all the time. I'll be competitive, and you know, at the time there was an Olympics, and you know, I've missed out in the squad of that as well because I wasn't playing, and that is hard to take, and it changes you. It changes you as a person. It changes your perspective. I hated football for a bit after. Took me a few months to get over all of that, but I mean, we got there in the end, and it is about how you bounce back. It's about how you respond. It's about where you go from there, because you can either stay in that place or you can fight your absolute hardest to get yourself out of it. And you know, that's what I did, and I ended up having a really good rebound year, which I'm very proud of. I think that was actually my favourite year at Chelsea, just because of what I'd been through the previous year. And I know Emma loves me and it comes from a great place, but she was really tough on me that year, and I remember it so well. But maybe that's the sort of thing that I needed to just keep me going, keep the spark alive, and it does really make you appreciate playing so much.
How do you think your relationship with Emma has changed over the years and grown?
I think she's trusted me a bit more as well.
Right.
Like, I think trust is earned with Emma. She's a very caring manager. She cares about what you do off the pitch. She cares about how your home life is. Like, I've really confided in Emma at times as well, and it does affect performance. Like, people forget that we all have outside lives, we all have external influences that are affecting performance, like nobody talks about, but why shouldn't it be talked about? Like, why shouldn't it be? But of course there's certain things you keep from your manager, but I think it was important that you can speak to her if you want to, and I think we've trusted each other a lot over the years, and I think she's been really tough with me. Like, she gets tougher on me every year. Honestly, she does. But I love that because she knows what I can do, and I think that's the biggest compliment to me, that whenever she's being super hard on me, I know it's coming from a good place, and I know it's because she knows I can do more and I'm capable of more. Like, she sees it every day. She sees the analysis, she sees the stats. If she's going at me, it's not because I can't do it, it's because she knows that there's more in me, and I love that type of manager, and I've absolutely loved working with her.
How would you describe her leadership skills? And I guess, do you think it's inspired you in your way of leading since being captain?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely more direct. I think Emma's quite direct, to the point. She's a winner and I'm a winner, so that's why we get on so well, honestly. She'll do whatever it takes to win, and I'm the same, and I think it's a perfect harmony. But I think just saying what needs to be said, like, if you're a leader, people are looking to you. You have to can't always just be sunshine and roses and great conversations. And I feel like everybody thinks there is a perfect harmony at the training ground all of the time. But it's not. That's not how it works. Like, if we're family, we fight like family as well. Like, don't get me wrong, we fight like family, but we fight because we all care and we all want to win and we all love each other deep down. But yeah, of course we do fight, and I think being a leader, you have to have tough conversations, and I think that's maybe what I've grown so well in. So
I have to finish on, can you sum up what being a Blue means to you?
No, I can't. That's the answer.
No, I can't.
In the nicest way possible. It's difficult to describe. I feel like it's a family. It is really sort of one club, and I love the feeling of being part of something, and I love the feeling of everybody here being a winner and fighting for the same goal. And all the fans are so proud of us, but it is only if we keep winning. So we just keep needing to do them proud, and I think being a Blue means, for me, is giving my best every single day, and until I no longer wear the shirt.
Oh, Erin, thank you so much for coming back on the podcast and for being so honest and so real. It's always such a pleasure. You make me think, you go really deep, and then you make me laugh, and then I get choked up. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks again for having me on.
Thank you for listening to We Are Chelsea, the official podcast of Chelsea Women, brought to you in association with Skoda, the official car partner of Chelsea Women and proud supporters of women's sport. During the course of this series, we'll be speaking in depth to more of Chelsea's top players, and we'll also be bringing you all the post-match reaction to the biggest games with the players themselves. So remember to subscribe, give us a review, and send in your questions to wearechelsea@chelseafc.com. See you next time.